Hi, I'm BTSS. I love to read and write scary stories. My mom is one of my few loyal fans. She has a unique hobby. She likes to buy lottery tickets and predict the winning numbers for Powerball using everyday life symbols. For example, if she sees a cloud that looks like a 3, she'll pick 3 as one of the numbers for her next lottery ticket. She also has her own unique Taiwanese strategy that she has shared with me. For instance, she thinks a tree is the number 4, a dog is 9, a butterfly is 38, and so on. Don't ask me why. I really don't know why. Since I started uploading my videos, she has been watching them and using them to predict the winning numbers. One time, she shared her strategy with me, and not only did I think it made no sense, but I also found it quite amusing. I started to think, why not share her predicted numbers at the end of my stories? From now on, every now and then, I will pick one of my feature stories and show my mom the video before I upload it. I will ask her to predict the winning Powerball numbers and take notes of her deductions. Then, at the end of the story, I will share the numbers she picked, along with the date of the next drawing when she will buy a ticket with those numbers. Just a quick note, she rarely gets the right numbers, so I personally don't think she's very good at predicting. So please don't follow her picks and expect to make big money. Now let's begin today's story. Once upon a time, there was a well-known internet influencer named Gaga. Gaga had many fans who enjoyed following him online. One day, Gaga created a video on YouTube where he went to different restaurants and sampled various types of food. However, there was an issue. Gaga didn't enjoy the taste of the foods he tried, and he consistently expressed negative opinions about them in a disrespectful manner. After the video was uploaded, one of Gaga's fans was happily eating a beef rice bowl when he came across the video. To his surprise, he realized that the very same beef rice bowl he was enjoying had been criticized by Gaga in the video. Since he was a big fan of Gaga, the fan agreed with what Gaga had said and thought that the beef rice bowl he was eating tasted really bad. The fan tossed the beef rice bowl after just a few bites. Then, something strange happened. After sitting in the trash can for several hours, the beef rice bowl started to experience emotions. It felt as if it had been abandoned, and a deep sadness overcame it. This sadness grew stronger and stronger until it turned into a dark spirit that roamed the streets. One day, a gourmet happened to walk down that same street. The dark spirit, noticing the gourmet, instantly took possession of his body. After being possessed by the dark spirit of the discarded food, the gourmet, who used to enjoy eating, lost his appetite. Over the course of several months, he gradually became thinner and thinner. Many of his pants became too loose, and he had no choice but to throw them away, even though they were still in pretty good condition. One pair of pants that had been tossed into the trash can sat there for several hours, and something peculiar happened. It started to experience emotions. It felt as if it had been abandoned, and a deep sadness overcame it. This sadness grew stronger and stronger until it turned into a dark spirit that roamed the streets. One day, a stylishly dressed man happened to walk down that same street. The dark spirit, noticing the man, instantly took possession of his body. After being possessed by the dark spirit of the discarded clothing, the man, who used to enjoy wearing fashionable cloth, underwent a transformation. He started feeling like he didn't want to wear anything at all. Day after day, he chose to remain unclothed, even when going out in the public. Despite repeated warnings from the police to dress appropriately, he stubbornly refused, persisting in his state of nudity. As more time went by, people began to think he was mentally ill because of his unusual behavior. Eventually, the police arrested him for indecent exposure, and he was sent to a mental institution. Sadly, his mental health got worse while he was in the institution. He became even more unstable and behaved in stranger ways. Frequently, he would tear his bed sheets into tiny little pieces, which made the nurses rush into his room to stop him from causing further damage. Because of this, they had to throw away many torn bed sheets. Something strange happened. One day, as it sat inside a trash can, a torn bed sheet suddenly experienced emotions. It felt as if it had been abandoned, and a deep sadness overcame it. This sadness grew stronger and stronger until it turned into a dark spirit that roamed the streets. One day, a librarian passed by and became possessed by the dark spirit. Once possessed by the torn bedsheet dark spirit, the librarian began tearing pages out of books in the library. Because of this destructive behavior, the librarian was fired from his job. With no job, the librarian couldn't afford to pay the rent. After 2 months of not paying rent, the librarian was forced to move out. Being a librarian and having a love for books, the librarian owned many books at home. However, due to the limited time he had to move out, he couldn't bring all of his books with him, nor did he have the opportunity to donate them. Sadly, the librarian had no choice but to throw away a lot of his books, even though many of them were still in good condition. A book that had been tossed into the trash can sat there for several hours, and something peculiar happened. It started to experience emotions. It felt as if it had been abandoned, and a deep sadness overcame it. This sadness grew stronger and stronger until it turned into a dark spirit that roamed the streets. One day, a college student happened to stroll down that very street. The dark spirit noticed the student and immediately possessed his body. This student was a straight-A student. However, after being possessed, he lost interest in studying hard. He began skipping classes and spending his days partying. On a particular day, he decided to skip class and go to a baseball game. He convinced his best friend to come along, even though his friend had no interest in baseball and had an important test the next day. Feeling obligated, the friend brought his study materials to the baseball game. When the college student saw his friend studying during the game, anger suddenly surged within him. Without thinking, he snatched his friend's study materials and threw them onto the baseball field. To everyone's surprise, the study materials flew through the air and struck the pitcher on the mound. This unexpected disruption caused the pitcher to throw a wild pitch, allowing the opposing team to score a run. As a result, the baseball team lost the game, and it happened to be the championship game. Interestingly enough, the well-known internet influencer, Gaga, happened to be a huge fan of the baseball team that ended up losing. He felt deeply saddened by the team's defeat in the championship game, completely unaware that his own actions had played a role in this outcome. Gaga had no idea that his negative comments about the food's taste in his YouTube video might have contributed to the team's misfortune. This story taught us an important lesson. We shouldn't be too harsh when criticizing restaurant food and sharing our opinions online for everyone to see. This kind of action can have serious consequences. It can ruin a gourmet's appetite for good food, make a fashion enthusiast go crazy, make a librarian destroy library books, cause a straight-A student to slack off in college, make a baseball pitcher get hit by a textbook, and even make your favorite baseball team lose in the championship game. But those aren't the scariest. The scariest of all is the street. It can make the street a place where dark spirits wander, patiently waiting to take over people's bodies. Now, it is time to predict the winning number for the Powerball. To play Powerball, We need to choose 5 main numbers between 1 and 69 and 1 Powerball number from 1 to 26. When deducing the winning numbers from my story, Mom likes to pick the 6 most important scenes from the story and predict one number from each scene. The first important scene in the story is when the internet influencer, Gaga, tries some food but doesn't enjoy the taste. He consistently expresses negative opinions about the food in a disrespectful way. Mom believes that an internet influencer is similar to a celebrity, which represents the number 7. When someone expresses a negative opinion disrespectfully, it means he strongly dislikes it. If someone likes something, it's a plus. If they don't like something, it's a minus. -5 represents the strongest dislike. So, Mom subtracted 5 from 7 and got 2, which is the Powerball number. The second important scene in the story is when the gourmet loses his appetite and becomes thinner. A diner represents the number 75. Losing weight is a minus, while gaining weight is a plus. In the story, it seems like the gourmet lost a significant amount of weight, so Mom assigned it a -5. 75 minus 5 equals 70, which is greater than 69. When a number goes over, it goes back to 1. So, Mom subtracted 69 from 70 and got the number 1, which is the second number Mom predicted. The third important scene in the story is when the stylishly dressed man refuses to wear clothes. Normally, a stylishly dressed person enjoys trying on different outfits. Trying on clothes represents the number 40. There are different numbers associated with different types of clothing. For example, the number 3 represents general clothing, while the number 5 represents coats. The numbers 21 and 23 are for underwear. Mom chooses the number 3, which represents cloth in general. After being possessed by a dark spirit, the stylishly dressed man no longer likes wearing clothes. So, Mom took 40 minus 3 and got 37, which is the third number Mom predicted. The fourth important scene in the story is when the librarian destroys library books. In the story, the librarian enjoys reading. Reading represents the number 37. Books are represented by the number 6. Since the librarian destroyed books, Mom subtracted 6 from 37 and got 31, which is the fourth number Mom predicted. The fifth important scene in the story is when the college student attends a baseball game and throws a textbook onto the field. The student is represented by the number 10, and baseball is also represented by the number 10. Mom added 10 plus 10, which equals 20. A book represents the number 6. Since the student threw away the book, Mom subtracted 6 from 20 and got 14, which is the fifth number she predicted. The sixth important scene in the story is when the internet influencer Gaga's disrespectful and negative comment about food has a butterfly effect, causing the baseball team he supports to lose the game. A butterfly represents the number 38, and an internet influencer, like a celebrity, represents the number 7. Mom added 38 plus 7, which equals 45. In the story, the baseball team allowed the opponent team to score 1 run. Mom subtracted 1 from 45 and got 44, which is the sixth number she predicted. Therefore, the winning numbers of Powerball that Mom predicted from this story were 1, 14, 31, 37, 44, and the Powerball number was 2. Mom already purchased the Powerball ticket with this set of number for the drawings on June 12th, June 14th, and June 17th of 2023. Hope she will win some money. Good luck to those of you who also purchased Powerball tickets.